10 years ago, the absolutely held together barely with duct tape car I had gave up the ghost. And it was actually in the middle of moving from a desert city, Harupa Valley, California, to back to my hometown of Long Beach, California. And the difference here, though, is Harupa Valley traditionally has not been a very pedestrian, transit, or cycle friendly city. But Long Beach was those things. Well, is those things. In fact, they are more so now than they were then. And the car died, and I had this decision. I could either put money into it to fix it, or I could let go of the car and focus on other transport options. And the decision was kind of made for me because I was broke. I was very broke, and I made the decision to let go of the car. Something, though, that I've been wanting to do since I had gotten the car. The vehicle was a tool, but it was a tool that did not make me happy. So, why I don't drive. Now, for anyone who knows me, knows that I don't drive. I haven't owned a vehicle in about 10 years, and what driving I do is usually with my girlfriend's car. Now, distinctly, this is important. This is her car that I use. I still have a driver's license, and I still need to use a car once in a while. So she lets me use it. But for my personal transport, most of the time, especially in the last year, it's been an e-bike or public transit or a combination of the two because they work pretty good together. So why don't I drive? Risk of accidents. Driving involves inherent risks, and even the safest drivers can be involved in accidents due to factors beyond their control, such as weather conditions or other reckless drivers on the road. Realistically, the most dangerous thing about being on a bicycle is other cars. It's also the most dangerous thing about being in a car is other cars. The most dangerous thing about walking down the street is other cars. It's safe to say that if you removed all the cars off all the roads, the death rate on the road would drop to basically zero. They're the most dangerous part. Financial cost. Owning a car comes with significant expenses like insurance premiums, fuel costs, maintenance fees, and potential repair bills. These add up over time and can strain on one's budget. And I'm not talking a small margin, we're talking thousands of dollars a year. And maintenance is one of those things that people often overlook. A lot of people only focus on how much gas is, but they forget the wear and tear of just driving down the street. Like your wheels are expensive; they require maintenance, replacement. Your engine requires maintenance. Like there's a lot of things that go to damage your vehicle. Back when I worked for the census back in 2010, whenever we had to drive someplace, they would pay us 75 cents per mile. That was not just to cover the cost of the fuel, but to cover the wear and tear of the vehicle. Which is good because the census took good care of us. Environmental impact. Admittedly, this is not where I started with my no car journey, but cars emit greenhouse gases that contribute to climate change and air pollution. By not driving, you are reducing your carbon footprint and helping to protect the environment. As I have matured as a anti-car, pro-public transit, now e-bike enjoyer, this has become a bigger deal to me. I care about the planet. We're kind of at that tipping point right now, environmentally speaking. And even though me not using a car as much isn't going to save the planet, if more people did what I'm doing, I think we could see a benefit there. But well, let's continue. Let's continue. Traffic stress. This one talks to me a lot. Dealing with heavy traffic, road rage incidents, and aggressive drivers can be extremely stressful. Avoiding this by choosing alternative modes of transportation can help reduce stress levels. I suffer from driving anxiety. I believe it came from many, many years of having just the worst vehicles that I can get my hands on and always thinking they're going to fall apart underneath me. But it makes me very uncomfortable. And again, I also think a lot about, the most dangerous things we do, driving on the freeway, driving in heavy traffic. That's incredibly dangerous. Parking hassles. Now this one's great. This is my favorite part about alternate modes, but finding a parking spot in a busy area can be time consuming and frustrating. Additionally, paying for parking fees adds to overall cost of owning a car. True story. I had a good friend of mine, and my friend was dating a gentleman who we used to go on little ventures together on, and he had a bad habit of circling the parking lot looking for a close spot to the building that we were going to go into. The problem was, at one point, he spent half an hour circling just so he wouldn't have to walk from one end of the parking lot to the door. And mind you, her boyfriend was not disabled or with any disabilities. He was just adamant that he had to have a close spot. And when I owned my van, because side note, I used to be a janitor. I used to work full time as a janitor. I used to park my big heavy van all the way at the end of the parking lot because when you have a big old van, that's the only place you can safely park your vehicle. And so I got used to walking really far distances from the front door. But now, as a public transit and e-bike user, I usually just have to walk from the anywhere I can lock my bike up to the front door, which is a lot closer most of the time. Yes, yes. Health benefits. Walking or biking instead of driving provides opportunities for physical activity, which has numerous health benefits such as improved cardiovascular fitness, weight management, and reduced chronic disease like diabetes and heart disease. Now, let's be real, I'm a chunky dude. And this is not because I have an e-bike. In fact, the e-bike gets me on the bike more, especially lately. But when I used to cycle 5 miles to work and 5 miles back every day, and then after work, cycle for leisure, I was very healthy back then. And the big thing that really became the switch for me actually was working from home because I'm now cycling at least 10 miles less a day, which is something I'm trying to remedy. And I think the e-bike and my recent purchase of a little 10 speed might help get those juices flowing for more bike riding time. Reduced levels of stress. This kind of goes on the whole. The other one about what was that one? That was traffic stress. Reduced level of stress. This one is great because let's read it first. Studies have shown people who use active transportation methods, walking, cycling, experience lower levels of stress compared to those who drive cars due to the relaxation of being outdoors in nature and engaging in physical activity. This is a big one. And for example, today, I went to go get dinner for myself and the missus. And after 8+ hours of sitting, well, here in my office, working, it felt really good to get on the bicycle, ride down to the burger joint, grab dinner, and come back. Now, the ride is only a mile and a half, maybe 3 mile round trip on an e-bike, but that being in the sunlight, cool air, fresh air, not stagnant office air, it really did make my entire day so much better. I really enjoy before work cycling and after work cycling because it's just nice to get that freshness of the day all up in you. It's good stuff. Highly recommended. Saving time. In some cases, walking or biking can actually save you time compared to driving. especially during rush hour when traffic congestion slows down vehicles significantly. Now, honestly, in United States, in California, this one doesn't come up quite as often as I would like it to. But there are some cases where the fastest way to get around is on a bicycle or on a bus or on a train. And in the LA area, there's a few trains that actually slide down the median of a freeway. And I've been on those trains during like just absolutely packed rush hour. Both directions on that freeway are a parking lot. But there's my train sailing past them at 60 miles an hour. Um, that's pretty cool. That's really nice. In some more congested areas of LA, the freeway average speed during rush hour can slow down to as little as 14 miles an hour, which is the exact same speed I'm on average going on an e-bike. So there are times when it's better. If we had better cycling and transit infrastructure in this country, that actually would be a lot more apt. Those examples I gave you are with our not quite great transit system setup. If we actually put effort into building that transit system out, that would be a bigger point. A bigger point. Promoting community connection. This is true. This is true. I mean, this one actually I have to say is not exclusive because there are some cultural scenes in regards to vehicles, gas vehicles, and whatnot. I know a few people who are part of groups that get together to work on cars, and that's cool. Don't get me wrong, that's cool. Um, but I do like the cycling community. I go to the local bike shop. The people who work there and their customers are all bicycle nerds. I ride public transportation, and the people I meet and talk to on the bus are people I would probably never meet if I wasn't taking the bus. And I really like that part. There's connections there. I made friends that are still friends these days, that many years later, just by having a casual conversation on public transit. And I feel like it's a very special thing that comes out of that some people miss out on. Supporting sustainable cities. Now, this one's really hard, especially if you don't live in an area that's been making an effort towards sustainability. Having said that, remember, when it comes to things like your local government, you have a lot more ability to influence in your local government than you do in, say, like the national space. So if you live in an area that doesn't have good sidewalks, doesn't have bike lanes, that becomes an opportunity for you to try to connect with the people in your city and your local government and tell them that, I live here and this is what I want for our city. And your mileage may vary, of course, but you have a higher chance of inflecting good change. And also, this might not be directly related to this slide, but the more people see you using the streets, the transit, and the bike lanes, the more it seems like other people will feel safe to do so. And the more people that feel safe to do so also usually means the more likely your neighbors are to vote on those elements on the local elections when they come up. So by using it, that is kind of the form of pushing its necessity. If you build it, they will come, but also if you come, they'll probably start building it. This was a bit of a different video for me, but I do think that there is a connection between the progress of humanity. You got your open source. Some would say you even have AI. And I also think that healthy transit and healthy communities are part of that better future that we want to put together. And so to me, this doesn't feel like that big of a jump in topic, but let me know your thoughts below about your relationship to walking in your city cycling in your city, and of course, public transit. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.